that it was canceled, and that they're going to send us vouchers.
Roland Cooley says he paid $4,000 last year for his daughter Sophia to travel overseas. She's one of 6 seniors at Empire High School who registered for a 9-day trip to Japan. 16 other students were on the list and set to leave on March 9th.
She's very disappointed. She was looking forward to this for a year.
Then when news of the coronavirus hit, the school officially canceled the trip. And now Mr. Cooley says he wants a refund, but was offered a voucher that his daughter can't use.
It is transferable, but that also generates other problems of us trying to now sell this thing to somebody else when we had no choice on when it was canceled.
The family also bought travel insurance, and they called and found out it didn't apply to the situation.
They tell you, well, you have to have lost your passport the day before, have a death in the family, a person in your family has to be military, have orders to leave.
KGUN9 reached out to Empire High School about a solution to the problem, and they sent a statement that says, in part, the Vail School District's top priority is the health and safety of students. Vail takes every possible measure to keep students out of potentially dangerous situations. The school worked with EF Tours to reschedule the trip for June of 2021. And as for the seniors, they were given the option of attending a trip in July of 2021.
Empire High School canceled it without having a meeting with the parents, without talking to the parents.
Within 24 hours of contacting EF Educational Tours about our story, a spokesperson responded and said the company decided to expand their Peace of Mind program because of the coronavirus. We're also told, quote, the travel voucher is good for any of EF's independent products. So basically now the Coolies can use or transfer the travel voucher for any EF tour in the world without limitations. And while a full refund is out, a new and more flexible option is available. The family has until September of 2021 to use the voucher. We have the full statements and travel information that you should know about on our website, KGUN9.com. Shawndrea Thomas, KGUN9 on your side. Kathy Clare is worried about her future at the Shady Lane Trailer Park on West Prince Road.
We basically got a 30-day notice.
Kathy says the last 5 years have been good. Then she got this eviction notice from the owner last month. She claims the city of Tucson is changing the zoning on the property, and now some of the tenants who have been there for years have to go.
It'll take me time to find a place for us to be accepted, and I'm terrified I'm not going to find a place in 30 days. And then where am I going to go, and what do I do with my trailer? I need more time.
So the concerned renter went down to City Hall to ask Mayor Regina Romero for more time to move out.
One person has been here for 15 years.
According to the owner, the RVs were grandfathered in to allow for long-term rentals when she bought the land in 2010.
The owner of the property, she's devastated at the loss of income.
The owner didn't go on camera, but showed us the old and new site plans and says her new plan was approved last December, then denied on the same day.
2011, right?
Longtime manager Tony Russo is worried that some of the renters will be homeless.
I want to see the RV thing be reinstated so we can get these people back in. So these people are there, don't have to worry about where they're going to go.
KGUN9 went down to City Hall with questions, and city leaders say they're not evicting anyone. We're told a 2019 sewer complaint to code enforcement revealed other safety issues on the property, including more RVs than the city allows.
This has to do with the health and safety regulations.
We sat down with Clayton Trevelyan with Planning and Development, and he says the park never had a grandfathered status.
This park has a non-conforming status, which means that at some point in time, the property was approved for a specific number of units and configuration in the park.
The site is limited to 28 units because only 28 utility spaces were built into the original site plan. Additions must be approved by inspectors, and a zoning change for more space can take up to a year to process.
Of those 28 units, they would be allowed to have 7 permanently established RVs that are permanently connected to the utilities.
The city is also helping the renters with federal funding for housing and suggested an RV park 4 blocks away. At this point, Kathy and her neighbors are still hoping to stay on the property.
We're a community, and we help each other out. And it's devastating for me to lose a community of people that but watch out for my son when I'm gone.
The city is sending updated documents to the owner outlining the zoning and code enforcement process. We'll keep an eye on the story and let you know what happens next.
The truck's been in our family directly and indirectly since the 70s and 80s.
Ted Tucker is a man on a mission.
It was just a restoration project for my grandson, which we started when he was in 10th grade. So at least he could have it for his junior, senior year. And he's graduating already this year.
He's been trying to get his 65 Chevy pickup fixed up for his grandson. So he went to Earl's Automotive Shop on the south side of Tucson in April of 2016 and made a deal with the owner, Chris Tatro, to get the work done.
It seems like every time I go over there to see him, he's working on somebody's car. And I've already paid him all of his monies up front.
That one-year promise turned into 3 years, and Ted is still waiting to get his truck back and wishes he had done things differently.
I would have gone in, had him write up exactly what he's going to do, how he's going to do it in stages.
So here's the trail of payments between Ted and Chris. In April of 2016, Ted paid the first $1,000. In May of 2016, another $1,000. In August of 2016, he dropped $2,000. And in March of 2017, he paid the last $3,300. And as of that date, Ted has paid $7,300 for a truck that's still in the shop. Ted checks on the truck and sees some progress, but says he feels pushed aside.
I made a big mistake in, first of all, trusting him.
Not on Your Side made contact with the restoration mechanic, and he says the truck is almost done. He also says his shop closed down after starting the project for Ted, and on top of that, he has a full-time job. He did say the truck will be ready to roll by the end of the month, so the wait is on to see if Ted will finally get his 65 Chevy back on the road.
Now, he no longer has a shop, so I feel sorry for him for that. But, you know, your word is your word, an agreement's an agreement. And if you could not have finished the job when I came in with the rest of the money, he should have said, I can't do it.
Ah, the selfie. Everyone is doing it.
Hey, that's good. Look at us.
Celebrities, kids, grandparents, even the president is getting in on the action. It's become the norm. And there are apps for it, songs about it, and instructions on how to take the best selfie. So why do we do it?
People work really hard to try and make sure that they get all their friends in one selfie.
I had to investigate after I saw this picture of my 3-year-old niece, Malia. She took this selfie, and it's pretty good. That's when it hit me. The selfie phenomenon is out of control and has a life of its own.
What the phenomenon of the selfie is, and when we talk about it being the culture of the selfie, is it's feeding this narcissism that we've always had.
St. Louis University journalism and social media expert Dr. Amber Hensley says there are a lot of reasons why the selfie is spreading.
The culture of the selfie is universal. We can see this is something that's inherent in human nature. If you give a child a phone, as soon as they figure out how to take photos and what it can do, they're going to start taking photos of themselves, and that's because they're so young they don't understand narcissism and that they should hide it.
In 2013, the Oxford English Dictionary made selfie the word of the year. According to a recent Yahoo article, nearly 1 trillion pictures will be taken in 2014, and most of them are, you guessed it, selfies.
But what's happening is, whereas a few years ago it was just MySpace or Facebook or Twitter that you could post selfies to, now you have other social media where you can share these.
And the stealthy is when you pretend to take a picture of yourself, but you're really trying to capture someone else in the background. Some have made selfies an obsession. According to reports, a man in Great Britain tried to commit suicide after failing to take the perfect picture. And remember Canadian Jared Frank? He got kicked in the head while trying to take a selfie with a moving train. And the stories get worse.
There was a case in Russia not long ago where a young woman actually died trying to take a picture of herself. She fell to her death.
There are also lots of apps out there, and some of them have a slimming effect to change your appearance. And while some think it has a negative impact on body image, Sue Green with Skinny Pic says her app is designed to inspire those who want to make a change. They only focus on the face.
We understand that the camera can add 10 or 15 pounds. It has to do with lighting. It has to do with depth of field. So our goal was only to, in essence, level the playing field so that you can get those 10 or 15 back and make it be very realistic.
We also asked WashU students what they thought about the impact of selfies on our society.
I've taken a few selfies, I must say. I'm not a stranger to them, but Sometimes it gets a bit excessive.
I just wish that more people would just enjoy life instead of worrying about taking pictures of themselves.
Let's face it, the viral selfie phenomenon will grow along with our need to share our experiences with others. It will continue to be a part of our digital and evolving society.
Especially as people emulate what's going on in pop culture, we're going to continue to see the rise of the culture of the selfie.
Situation, Shawndrea.
Well, fire officials say that 3-alarm fire started at around 8 o'clock here in the 3600 block of Hamilton. And again, let me just give you a frame of references. It's directly behind the Goody Goody Diner. Fire crews are still here on the scene, basically wrapping things up, but there are still a couple of hot spots out here in this area. We're told this is a budget inn. This inn has about 84 rooms, and a good chunk of them were affected by the fire. It actually spread through the roof. This is what the fire chief on scene had to say.
Responded in, made sure everybody was out of the building. We had about 4 to 5 units on fire.
At this point, we're told St. Louis City, University City, and Riverview fire departments were on hand. We're also told that there were no injuries, but again, as you can see, fire crews are still out here working on hotspots and will continue to do so throughout the night. Reporting live in North City, Shawndrea Thomas, Fox 2 News. Sandy, the victim says it was the most traumatic experience of her life, being left in woods like these in the cold, and it also changed her life forever.
I never thought that I would be walking down a road naked with nowhere to turn.
19-year-old Kimberly Maidenblick is lucky to be alive. She has a broken arm, bruises, and 6 staples in her head.
I was like crying, like begging her. I was like, please don't do this. And she hit me in the head with that pole. And I just remember my eyes went black.
She says the attack on her life was a result of a drug-induced mania that started Monday morning in Sullivan at the home of 37-year-old Crystal Gim over a cell phone.
She said that I had released her demons. You could just see the evil come out of them.
Gim, Jason Kerbel, and another man allegedly kidnapped, stripped, beat, and forced Maidenblick into freezing waters in the remote woods along Little Indian Creek. 3 hours later, she was found on the side of the road by a couple driving by.
There was a point where I could feel my chest, like it felt like it was freezing, like it was like my heart was like actually freezing. There was just like this fight in me that was like, you can't just give up like this.
So far, Gim and Kerbel are in custody, charged with kidnapping, assault, and armed criminal action. A third man has been released, but detectives say he can face charges in the future.
I had gotten involved with just the wrong people. I was doing drugs and just...
Now Maidenblick is working on her recovery from the beating and drugs that sent her down this cold and dark path.
What they did to me, that's going to affect me for the rest of my life.
Kimberly also says she plans to attend college as soon as possible to get her life back on track. Reporting live in Union, Shawndrea Thomas, Fox 2 News. Some say image is everything. And after 3 months of unrest for the people of Ferguson, it is everything, as the protest and grand jury decision looms over the city.
I love Ferguson, this Sandy. We choose to live here because we want to live in diversity.
Fox 2 found out when you Google search Ferguson, this was the picture that popped up with the city map. Here you can see a protester and law enforcement in what appears to be a face-off. So I made contact with the online search engine on Monday to find out how the picture was selected and got an email response saying, quote, "The photos are automatically and algorithmically determined, generally reflecting points of interest about an entity on the web. In this case, the listing has been updated to reflect a map of Ferguson. And within 24 hours, the image was changed."
You're right.
And that makes Sandy Sansevier at I Love Ferguson and others very happy.
The image that we need is that this is a great community. I love this city, and I want it to continue to grow like it has been growing in the last 10 years.
Sandy says people from all around the world come to their shop with preconceived notions, an idea they're hoping to change.
There was some guys from Norway who had come in, drove them around Ferguson. They were surprised that the city was not burnt to the ground, the entire city.
While the world and Ferguson's 21,000 residents wait to see what the future holds for their city, one thing's for sure, there are plenty of supporters who want to see Ferguson Ferguson develop a new and improved place on the map.
We all need to come together to get the perception of this city the way it's supposed to be.
The owner says he's had his chickens for 3 months and he's attached to them, and he'll do everything he can to keep them.
Helen, Foghorn.
Luther Veal loves his 5 chickens.
We have Lucy, we have Foghorn, we have Queen, and we have
Beth. He and his wife Julie are battling O'Fallon City Hall after getting this notice from code enforcement.
Here's my little girl's eviction notice.
The city says the chickens and the coop must go, and they have 10 days to do it. They've been raising their feathered friends for 3 months.
We have a fish pond in this subdivision. So if I got to get rid of my chickens, that means this subdivision is also breaking the ordinance.
I like them. I like having them. I like taking care of them.
Luther and Julie say it took 2 days to put this house together for their chickens, and they're willing to fight to keep them at home.
I'll go sit there, and they like country music, and I'll feed them out of my hand.
City officials recently discussed the issue and decided to not allow chickens. They also said the ordinances of the city of O'Fallon do not allow for the keeping of farm animals, including cattle, swine, sheep, horses, goats, and poultry within the city limits except in agricultural zoning districts.
They're getting ready to go to bed.
While the fight is just days away, Luther will keep feeding, housing, and keeping his chicks safe and sound.
People nowadays want to have backyard birds. We love the eggs, and it's just nice having them around.
Volunteers are still here, and they are expected to be here throughout the night as they hope for the best. They have also filled over 17,000 bags so far. The machines are working, and the bags are filled. Dozens of volunteers showed up to help fill the thousands of sandbags needed to help protect the city of Alton from rising floodwaters. Residents say it reminds them of the floods that hit the city back in the 70s and 90s.
You have to do what you have to do.
Riverbend yoga owner Vicki Delaney says she moved her equipment to higher ground and made her studio a warming center for volunteers downtown.
Alton has really pulled together their flood relief plan this year has been absolutely amazing compared to years in the past. They've learned every flood and they get better and better.
And around the corner at William Street, people of all ages are helping out and doing their part.
See a lot of the adults, and there's been tons of younger kids out here. So it's nice to see everyone giving back to our community.
Businesses in Sauget and Godfrey also donated equipment to make the process easier. Meanwhile, others provided food.
I find it kind of awesome that Alton came together like this. I was pretty surprised at how many volunteers were out here today.
At this point, city officials say they expect the water to crest on New Year's Eve. And with all of the hard work, they will be ready for whatever Mother Nature has in store.
If you come down, please help.
It's really cool to see the entire community come together because it doesn't happen very often.
At this point, we're being told that they are hoping to fill 50,000 bags before it's all said and done. We'll keep you updated on what happens here as soon as we get more information.
You could feel the evil, but the day we came up here, when they got sentenced to go to prison, it didn't have that evil feel to it anymore.
20 Cassing Drive in Fairview Heights, a deadly drug house known as the place where Chris Keel's 20-year-old daughter Jennifer died in September of 2012 of a heroin overdose. Since then, Chris has fought to tear it down.
I just wanted the pleasure of just seeing it be destroyed, how they destroyed my life.
That finally happened last week after a friend told her about the demolition. On Monday, she saw it for the first time. What are you thinking?
I'm glad it's gone. I'm glad it's gone.
City officials tell Fox 2 the home was on a demo list. The cost, $8,500. And within 8 hours, this dilapidated eyesore was gone, reduced to rubble. Broken blocks and glass, a reminder of broken lives.
Closure, just for it to be over with, because every time we drive down the highway here, I'd always look this way and I could see the house.
Since Jennifer's death, Chris has been trying to save others with addiction through the Hero Inside Foundation. The organization helps addicts with rehab, counseling, and in extreme cases, funeral costs. A fundraiser is set for Saturday at Moody Park.
We pay for their entry fee, and we even supply their personal hygiene needs if they don't have it.
Dealers Deborah Perkins and her son Douglas are serving a 19-year prison sentence. Now this mother can rest knowing she will never again set eyes on the home that left her family in ruins.
It's just an empty lot now.
Shawndrea Thomas, Fox 2 News.